Episode 4 of the 1965 Ford Falcon restoration project. We're removing more trim, and off with the trim there's tons of dirt and rust and grime and guts. And while you're here, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe if you missed any videos in the series so far. I'll link them here. Alright, let's get to this rusty man here. It's like I'm working on the Tin Man. Before we get started, this is where we're at right now. The front, the side, the trim is gone. You got the rear, which is missing a light now at this point, and then the right side, which is pretty much untouched. This is the progress that we're at. We are in the trim removal stage. I did remove the back seat, I removed the door panels, and I removed a lot of the weather stripping. That's where we're at right now. Last week, we tackled all that trim. Now, this week, we're going back at more trim, but at least we now know what we're doing. So I'm gonna pop the hood, and we'll tackle this trim. Bah! I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting to open the hood and just be able to reach those panels. Crap. I gotta go under the car. I don't mind being under the car. I prefer it to being under a dashboard any day of the week. But I realized I actually don't have to because I can kind of fit my arm under there. So if I remove the tire, easy peasy. If only removing the tire was easy peasy. I didn't realize it at first, but it's got this cap on it, and the socket, it rubs against the cap. Now, I'm not the first person to grind it away. I did notice that it had already been grounded. Dum, da, dum, dum, dum. And then I also realized that I don't have an Allen key small enough to get this hub off. It's weird because I thought I had every Allen key in the book, but apparently I'm a failure. You're not going to believe it, but I don't have an Allen key small enough to take that stupid hub off, and I don't want to keep grinding the hub away. And I've made fun of people forever for not having the right Allen keys, and here I am. I don't have a small enough Allen key. I'm shocked. So, you know what? We're going to have to continue the trim on the other side because, yeah, can't do that. One more try. No, these are not right. Thwarted by an Allen key. Let's take a look at this pan in here. Alright. Okay. Like I've got little arms. I can feel 2 bolts in there, so I can probably get to those. Having long, skinny arms, it's turns out to be quite a perk because I fit in there with ease. These little clips here, once they slide out from the trim, it's hard to undo the bolt on the other side. Oh. It's a needle nose pliers kind of task. Yep. Hot dog. This front piece is missing on the other side. This might just be held on by these 2 bolts here. I have the perfect type of ratcheting wrench to get this done, but it's not the right size, so I need to make a trip to Harbor Freight. They're in here. Oh, I know. Yeah, so that was a fail. This is another fail. Thought it could like do the reach around. This one was the only one that worked. It was long enough to kind of get some leverage, but what I really need to do this job, aside from taking the door off like an intelligent human being, is a flex head metric ratcheting combination wrench, which I have one of. I have an 8mm of. I just don't have the sizes that I need. And the whole kit and caboodle is $31.99 over at Harbor Freight. Now, fun fact about Harbor Freight, I was adding up money spent last year for tax purpose, and it turns out I've only spent a total of $836.28 in 2025 at Harbor Freight. I don't know if you can tell, but it's extremely windy out here today. This is tedious. It takes a lot of time, and it's just kind of jarring. It's a slow process. I'm not hitting the car with the mallet, so don't come in with your comments telling me I'm denting the car, not even touching it. And I'm not bending the trim. So that's all that matters, right? And it's just a very slow, tedious process. But it does feel quite rewarding to take the trim off. This is that center piece that's held on by the top and the bottom pieces. I feel bad. My neighbor down the alley, she just had a baby. If anyone has any tips on removing this emblem, let me know. And I really hope that this annoying banging in the alley isn't waking up the baby. I'd feel like a real turd if that was the case. And I would hope that she would walk down the alley and tell me to shut up if it was the case. It's a rippled... I want to remember how this goes, but... Is this even on right? Are they? Well, they all go up. Will I ever remember that? Alright. Leave no hooks left behind. These all have to be removed one by one and into the plastic baggie. Let's do this side. There goes the wind. So the tail light lenses, which is like that red portion right there and that silver chrome, those are very easy to find. I found them everywhere, even at Vivid Racing, which is where I get a lot of my Mercedes parts. Oh, this one's seen better days. Those retail for like $169 each. So they're not cheap, but they are available. And that one was cracked, so I don't imagine my sister wanting a cracked one. Now the housing, however, which is this tin can here that I'm removing, this is not so easy to find. I have not been able to find them on anywhere else but eBay used, and they're not cheap, and they're not in any better condition than these. So we'll repurpose those for sure. Once I get those taillights removed, I have easier access to the bolts that are holding on this rear piece of trim. I didn't say easy, but easier for sure, because these bolts are quite in there. And one of them's like, I don't know, it's a 9mm, and I don't know what happened, but all my 9mm ratcheting wrenches seem to have fled the facility. I don't know what this is. We're tossing it. So I my long skinny arms, they help in these positions, but it's definitely not comfortable. I was unsuccessful in my quest, so this is it. This is the destiny. I don't know where all my 9mm went. I'd like to blame my mother, but it's probably not a possibility. Am I the only one that likes to blame family members, specifically my mom, for random things that are definitely not her fault? Like, I'll be stubbing my toe and I'll look around for her because it's her fault somehow. Now we gotta go inside. Leg cramp. My allergies are outlandish with this wind. I don't know where my 9mm ratcheting one went. Right. Let's try to find it out. I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time, which is push it right towards the door panel, because then it's not gonna get stuck on the door. Just trust me. All right, so there's the back portion, the middle portion, the front portion, and then there's the left side and the right side. So that's 5 portions, and each portion requires a top and a bottom. So that's 10 freaking pieces of trim, and who knows how many like nuts and bolts are in there. That's a lot. No wonder I'm exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually from taking off this trim and removing these little doodad hickey things. And then the rear, there's this upper trim. I lost it. And it's rusted. It's completely rusted through. I'm trying to get these rusted bolts off. I lost them both. I think this was one of those areas where it was just very easy for it to pool up in here because both sides are rusted through. All right, let's continue. Saturday night, I ended up with a monster headache, and I thought it was because my hair was in a ponytail, but looking back at this video, I think the culprit of that migraine was this trim. Bang, 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 bang. I cut out a lot of the sound because it's so jarring, and with the wind, it's just, you'll never watch this. So, yeah. And then this one last piece of trim had an unidentified grommet hooky thing in it. Like, no other piece had this. It was homemade looking. Yeah, it was a weird little paper clip wire coat hanger looking thing. Anyways, I got it off, and then I got the very last of these screws and fasteners off of this side. So I get to go to bed tonight knowing that I've only got 2 more pieces of trim left to do. And then it's all this weather stripping. The dirtiest car I've ever worked on in my life. Saving the easy breezy part for last is this little floor panel thing. And let me tell you, I wasn't expecting it to be so cold. So I'm wearing like 3 pairs of pants. One of which is a pair of flare pants that just nicely leaks out the bottom of my sweatpants. And it's kind of a good thing too, because I'm filthy. I mean, I'm a scumbag. Look at me. I've never been dirtier in my life. I'm full of rust and spider webs, but job well done. This is what we got. Progress, the rear, the passenger side, looking pretty good. So we're almost there. It's so windy. I barely made it through. My eyes are watering. I'm sneezing. It's just ridiculous outside, but I did make some great progress. I'm almost done with that trim. I have just the door panel and the front left to do, and then I got a lot of other stuff to take off, like the bumpers, the headliner, and the seats and the windshield wipers. Seriously, my battery in my 1980 Corvette died, and I drive it all the time. It's so weird. I don't know why the battery would die. So anyways, I pulled the battery out. It's behind the seat, kind of like a real twister to get to, and I put it in my garage, and I've been charging it for about a week. So hopefully it's gonna start the car up. The only bad part is I know that I'm at very little gas, and I have to let it idle. So we'll put the battery in, hope it starts. And if it does, we'll go to the gas station. Can you think of anything more fun to do? Let's go. The battery is heavy, so I like to put it on my little scooter to scoot it on over there. I got this scooter off of Amazon. It was $599, and it was money well spent because I do like scooting around the neighborhood. Just because I have a lot of cars doesn't mean I'm not down to scoot around a neighborhood. I put this battery in here, and I imagine how hard it would be if I put that stupid Baja seat. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I bought this ridiculous race seat. It was so ugly. Could I be out of gas? Anyways, the seat was ugly and it wouldn't move up, so I would have had to take the entire seat out to get to that battery. Let's go to the gas station. It's the only thing I can think of. Gas station, check. Went there, got a container of E85, spent $4.88 on it. This gas tank goes chugga 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 as I put it in, and for some strange reason, I'm not having it today. Nope. Still not getting gas. Wasn't gas. No movement. No movement. Fuel pump. Not hearing anything. Now I'm to the point where I'm just not even recording because I'm so annoyed. It's not getting any fuel. Easiest hopeful thing would be a blown fuse. So let's go back. Alright. Please Lord Master Devon have put the fuses in here. Yes, I don't know which one is the right one. One by one. I did get this badass relay tester kit that I finally got to use. I'll spoil the spoiler for you. There's no bad fuse, and all of the relays are good. There were more fuses. Well, there was one more fuse and one more relay by the battery. I checked those too, and those were
These
good
fuses are all
as
good.
well. Yep. Good. Green. Good. Okay, so none of those fuses are relays. My favorite spot under the dash. I have to stop doing this right now. I have to stop the investigation. Obviously the fuel pump's not running, so I'll figure out why. I just can't do that right now in the street, in the sun at this moment. I've got other things to do. All right, we'll figure this out. I'll see you later.